Hello. In this video, we're going to talk about the development process that the senior design teams will go throughout the year. We have a rather large portfolio of projects, thankfully, and because of that, we try to instill some common practices and processes for our student teams. After all, we need to ensure our teams move through the year at the same pace. What is Agile? In its simplest terms, it's a development approach that aims to build software faster and more aligned to the sponsor's expectation in an iterative manner. It allows the students to show progress, to get feedback as they develop instead of waiting until the end. This allows for sponsor and team to work together to continuously improve and support the project, making needed course corrections sooner in the process, which saves time, rework, and money. Agile is a set of practices, many of which we encourage the teams to try. However, a main tenet of Agile is to only use the practices that make the team better. It's not a one-size-fits-all mentality. We do hope that each team investigates and tries some of these practices to learn more about them and adapt those that work best for them. There are some crucial practices that each team will do. For example, visions, releases, backlogs, and stories. Early in the project, the team will be tasked with understanding your vision for the project and elicit all necessary requirements, prioritizing them, and placing them in backlog as user stories. The teams will then go through exercises to estimate each user story and, using the established priorities, create a plan for each release. Be mindful, releases can be fluid, and the teams will negotiate with you along the way as the year goes on. We have 6 releases total through the year, 3 in the fall semester, 3 in the spring semester. For each release, the team will identify a list of stories they plan to complete. They do this by estimating the time it will take to complete each task, and then determine how many tasks the teams can complete in a given time frame. Part of a user story is what we call the definition of done. That is something your squad lead will get from you, the sponsor. For example, if you had a task that said a user should be able to log into my app, you would come up with a definition of done that says that task is complete once I, the sponsor, can put in a username, a password, hit go, and have a reset password functionality, also known as the acceptance criteria. The teams meet for team times 2 to 3 times a week for a total of 8 to 10 hours. Because of schedules, not everyone can meet each time, although that is what we shoot for. Daily stand-ups at the beginning of each time allow the squad lead and team members to get a handle on what has been accomplished since the last time they met, what they plan to get done at the current meeting, as well as talk about any potential roadblocks that may exist. At the end of each release meeting, the team will get together and do what we call a retrospective. This is where the team reassesses what has been working well for them, what hasn't been working well, and what they may want to do differently as they progress. Here's a quick look at how execution of the project will look, including project initiation, which is your kickoff meeting, the first time that you meet the students, through 6 releases, followed by a project closing meeting at the end of the school year. In each release, the team will design and code based off the user stories, test them, and go through an acceptance criteria with you. We talked earlier about the definition of done. That acceptance criteria is key and important for completion. You will hear the students talk about scope at nearly every meeting. Scope is a list of what tasks will be accomplished in a given time frame, whether it be a week until the next sponsor meeting or within the 3 to 4 or 5 week period of a release. To get ready for a release, the team will work with you to prioritize the tasks left to be accomplished, estimate how long each will take, and based on the given time frame, establish the scope for the release. The team is charged with constantly iterating through the scope and negotiating with you what will be accomplished during the given time frame. Once scope has been agreed upon, the team will iterate through each requirement, designing, coding, and testing, before turning it over to you for that acceptance criteria.